Welcome back to the Positive Side Podcast. Glad you're tuning in. The host, Jeremy Todd. Man, today is an interesting day. I've been thinking about this day for a long, long time. Uh, Today is episode 500. And it's interesting. Dang, that just says, it sounds kind of cool. 500 episodes of the Positive Side Podcast, 4 years and 500 episodes. It's hard to put in words. I get the chills just saying it out loud. And, it's funny, over the last few days, I've reflected and what does it mean to me? And what does it mean to the listeners? And how has my life changed? And over these 4 years and over these 500 episodes, it's hard to put in words. And I really, obviously this episode is means a lot for me, but I think it means so much more to the listeners from around the world that have been tuning in to me since day one. Episodes like, hey, I lost my job again. Episodes like, how do you get a pay raise? Episodes like depression, suicide. I've done big episodes all over a long, long time, and tons of guests. My buddy Dave Anderson, Brandon Hanley, Donnie Tuttle recently, Elise. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And I'm just, more than anything, thank you for listening. But it's just hard to quantify. And when I think about these things, I think about some of the goals of my life and goals of the people that have listened to the show. And I hope that, this podcast has brought you, some, maybe a getaway, maybe a relaxation. Maybe it's a comparing your life to my life. When other people's lives, they think it's destroyed, they can look at my life and be like, damn, that dude's life is jacked up. But also what it's done is it's watched the growth of the last 4 years and how anybody can do this. The point of this podcast, when I first started it, was the positive side of the car business. That was going to be the name. And my longtime friend, Adam Walton, said, dude, why don't you do it positive the side of the car business? Why don't you just do the positive side? Then, as you can listen, when you listen to the intro, it's the positive side of life, health, business, family, motivation. It's all these other things. And it just allowed the podcast to morph into this unique, authentic, raw, uncut, crazy, weird, up and down podcast that is just an inside look to what a real person's life is like, a real person that struggles and a real person that has joys and wins and losses. I've cried on the show multiple times. It just goes to show, when you put your mind to something that's extremely important to you, it goes over time, and it just changes you. It changes other people. And I've had people reach out to me in the last few weeks asking me, who are you going to have for the 500th episode? Who are you going to put on? I reached out to Gary Vee. I was going to have John Lee Dumas. If you don't know who John Lee Dumas is, check him out. He's confirmed to be on the show, but I'm not sure if I want to have him on the show just because of the time length and maybe some disagreements. But I thought, who better to have it than was just me and you, me and the listener that listened to episode 1. That was one of the worst episodes ever. And I leave it up there too, obviously for a reason, because and it goes back to saying that if I can do it, anybody can do it. If you want to start a podcast, and you can definitely start a podcast. And when you listen to my first episode, again, I left it up there on purpose. And I probably lost a lot of listeners and viewers because of that, because it is so bad. But I left it up there to show how far the show has come. The intro's changed. The intro originally, if you go back to the original episodes, it's funny because it sounds like a bad porno. It is absolutely the worst intro and outro music you've ever heard in your entire life. It's something I made on GarageBand. It was terrible. I laugh about it still because it was so funny. And then I changed the intro and I changed the outro. Then I started getting guests on the show. I had, so many guests that are, big names, and they've been a lot of fun to talk to them. The relationships I've made over the last few years has really changed my life. Another reason I do the podcast is to leave a legacy. I don't know what my legacy is, what it's going to be if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, if I get run over by a train, or something bad happens to me in the next year, month, whatever. Who knows? When my card is pulled and it's my time to go, it's my time to go, and I'm cool with that. But what am I going to leave behind? So one of the reasons I do the podcast is because of that. So my kids and my grandkids and my grandkids can go back and listen to the show and say, what was my dad like? What was my grandfather like? What was my dad's buddy like? I mean, all these different things that I do this. That's one of the reasons I did the show. But again, one of the main reasons for the show was to get people unstuck in life. I look at my friends, like my friend Todd Roberts, personal friends, quitting the teaching job and getting into a different career. I look at my friends, Jamie Langham, coming through some struggles and starting her podcast. There's people from all over the world getting emails and text messages. Hey, I'm thinking about committing suicide, but I listened to your episode. There was a gentleman a few years ago that did commit suicide, and I got an email from his family saying, thank you so much for giving him an extra few more months after he found your show. This show is way bigger than me. It's got a mind of its own. It's got a body. It's got this energy. It's got this whole thing going on, and it means so much to me, but it means so much to everyone around the world. So from the bottom of my heart, I can't thank you enough. And like I said, this whole podcast is to get people unstuck in life. It's never too late in your life. It's never too late to go for those goals and dreams. I don't know what your goals and dreams are, but even you could have. I mean, my podcast isn't super successful, but it's successful enough for me and successful enough for you. It's changed my life, and I know it's changed yours. And I just hope that you can, by listening to the show and looking at 500 episodes, it's a little overwhelming. I mean, since then I've relationships, um, fights with kids, different jobs, moved 3 times, wrote a book. It's just amazing when you actually really truly follow your passion, what can actually happen. I would encourage anybody out there listening to this 500 episode. It's not going to be the best episode, but it doesn't need to be. It's just me and you, right? I'm not looking for this world renowned speaker to come on the show, because it's not about world-renowned speakers. It's about the average Joe. It's about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. It's about you and me coming together and having these conversations weekly and having an insight of what my life is like through the ups and through the downs, through the wins and through the losses. And again, it just shows no matter what you go through in your life, you can always get through it. It's the positive side. And, it's funny. I hear the word the positive side pop up in different conversations. I'm always like, dang, there's a quick plug. There's a quick plug. And I love it because that's my mentality. People call me, my cousins, big shout to Anna and Louis Henry. They call me Mr. Positivity. That's cool. That's who I am. And it's just accepting who you are and understanding that who you are is okay. Your quirkiness is someone's light, someone's shining, above you, saying this is who you are. And it's okay to be who you are. It's okay to be, in whatever. If you like science, if you like art, if you like music, if you like band, it's okay. All that stuff is okay nowadays. And I think it's so important to understand that no matter your age, no matter where you are in your life, you can accomplish any of your goals that you put your mind to. And with this 500 episode, I don't want to make it long, because this show is not about me. It's about you. It's about the listener. It's about the lives that have been changed. Gosh, I just go back and I listen. I remember some of the emails from Africa. The young lady she was a chef at a restaurant, emailed me. A big shout to the young lady in South Korea that sent me an email. In India, Japan, South America, Mexico, Canada, constantly, Ireland. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And I come to you today with episode 500, being humbled, being overflowing with gratitude. Thank you. That's really all I can say is thank you. I question sometimes what direction my life is going to go, and I still don't know. I still don't know where my life is going to go. But that's okay. I mean, that's what makes the life part exciting. But what I do know is that when I come onto the show, I can be me and you can be you. And it's okay to struggle at stuff. It's okay to be who you are. And it's taken me a long, long time to figure that out. So, God dang. So again, 500 episodes. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm not going to stop. I mean, I'm more bullheaded than ever. And the guests I've got coming on in the future are just going to blow your mind. And they're so cool and so different. The show's morphing. But gosh, I keep going back to it. Thank you. I love every single person out there. I love every single person. I love the people that give me the 2-star reviews. I love the 1-star reviews. I appreciate the 5-star reviews more on iTunes. I appreciate the follows on YouTube. This is just getting started. It's crazy because I remember looking back thinking, gosh, am I going to get the big time in 1 month, 6 months, a year? Am I going to be speaking on stages internationally? Is it going to be 1 year, 2 year, 3 years? And here I am 4 years. And I don't even, it could be 8, 9 years. It could be 10 years. But at this point, it doesn't matter because I've got you as a listener, and that's really all that matters. It's on the pace that it should be, and I don't want it to change. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you again. The Positive Side Podcast, number 500. Just me, just you. Subscribe, share. Go to iTunes, go to Stitcher, go to Facebook page, go to LinkedIn, go to. I love for you to go to YouTube. A lot of cool things coming up, but man, it's emotional and wow, you've got greatness within. Like always, this is the positive side.